What's up, all Power Ass Crew? Today, well, we're going to start something new. We're starting Q&A Tuesday. What this is going to be all about is that I'll pick a comment, question, whatever from a said video. Now, I'm going to pick the video. It could be electrical, it could be fabrication, it could be fiberglass, whatever. I'm going to pick a question that's pertinent to the topic of that video, and I'll answer that question in video form, talking straight to you. Now, for the first video in this series, we're going to wind the clock back a little bit. Now, YouTube creators have this tool in the background where we can like take a survey or ask you guys questions, drop links to new videos. And within that tool, I asked a question a while back about what made you guys subscribe to my channel, what video did you like the most, what is it about my channel that you guys liked. And I had a lot of great comments come back. So today I'm going to answer those comments back, each and every one of them that responded back on that post. Today I'm out here at one of my favorite little places, Bledsoe Creek State Park in Tennessee. And yeah, it's just one of those places where I just like to walk, get away from all the hustle and bustle of life. It's just nice out here. Got the lake going on, got all the woods, that little critters in the woods and stuff. Back years ago, this is kind of where I used to train for my 5Ks and stuff. And well, obviously I ain't done it in a long time. But I still like to come out here and walk and just enjoy nature, enjoy the peace. It's so peaceful out here. But whenever these other videos I'm going to do for the Q&A Tuesday, as I go forward, they may be out here, they may be in Nashville, they could be anywhere that I get impulsed to answer a question, So you guys may see some random scenery. You might want to watch these videos just for the scenery, because you never know where I might be when I answer these questions. Cool? Alright. Or also, if it's got like a bunch of bad weather or something like that, I've also got my little home studio that I can do the green screen back behind me, like this. But I'm kind of using my new setup right now. I've got lights right here in front of me. I've got power lights right here. Then behind me, you guys see my rig sitting back there. But what you don't see is, it's really a green screen. Pretty cool. Pretty cool trick, wasn't it? So sometimes I may have some kind of superimposed image behind me. Who knows what it might be. It might be my Jeeps, it might be some woods, it might be the lake, it might be anything. I don't know. You guys down in the comments, tell me something that would be really cool for my green screen setup that you guys like to see floating behind me, while I do the commentary of answering the questions. It'd be really cool. So I'd like to see your responses on that. So enough of the gabbing, let's get on to answering some comments. Now let's start out with Dave YJ. And he says, when I got my YJ and started modifying and maintaining, naturally I hit up YouTube. Came across your content and the rest writes itself. Thanks for the good work. Cheers from Canada. It's really cool that when I check my analytics in the background, this video came from there, this subscribers came from here, these views come from here and there. I mean, whenever I first started the channel, I really didn't think about how far out these videos would reach, And so I get these comments coming from other countries in Canada, things like that. It's just so awesome that my content reaches out there so far and helps so many people. So Dave, appreciate you leaving the comment, brother. Peace out, bro. Later. Check it out. Looks like this tree has a spine. See the vertebrae right there. Of all the times I've been out here, I have never noticed that. It's kind of cool. So the next one is Joshua Peters. He says, there's plenty of Jeep content on YouTube, but not really enough YJ content. I like that you have two different builds, two different YJ builds going on, and you do a good job with the detail as well. Two different builds going on. Yep, I got my 1991. That's pretty much the star of the whole show, and then the second rig is the 1993 YJ, otherwise known as Rust Bucket. Rust Bucket, I really need to get back on that rig right there so I can get my toy done, so I can go out and do some wheeling videos. Actually, my best friend Wayne, I was talking about that today, is getting that rig up and complete and start making videos to show you guys some cool wheeling areas around here in Tennessee. As far as the details, I used to teach classes years ago. Actually, I've been an instructor on 2 different places, and I guess that kind of spills over into my videos, that I want to catch all the detail I can and to give you guys everything you need to make sure you get the job and get it done right. Sometimes that makes the videos a little bit long, but you know what? That's okay. As long as you guys get what you need to get the job done, I've done my part to the best of my ability, and I hope it works for you. So Josh, appreciate the comment, bro. Peace. Later, y'all. Or, no, I ain't done yet. Peace. Next comment. Oh, got a fish. So our next comment is coming from Carly Cox. After acquiring my dad's 90 YJ last week, I dove in head first, all things YJ. I don't blame you. I came across your page and subscribed. I noticed one of your videos you were a Percy Priest. I didn't realize you were local. We are in Middle Tennessee as well. Well, since you mentioned that, you mentioned about one of my videos being a Percy Priest, and you are absolutely correct. I worked in Nashville. I actually live 35 miles north of Nashville, closer to the Kentucky line. But since I worked in Nashville, I worked around from Donaldson Pike, right down from the airport a little bit. And I was IT, maintenance, and kind of part-time instructor, I guess you might say, at this little small college campus right there on Donaldson Pike. So what I was able to do, occasionally I'd be able to take a long lunch and I would escape, go to Percy Priest, and I would sit out there and do commentary, like openings and closings to videos and things like that, or sometimes I would even walk the trails out there, just whatever the need called for, or whatever I had time to do, I guess you might say. So Middle Tennessee, yep, I'm more closer to the Kentucky line, but I'm in Nashville quite a bit. Even though I don't work down in Nashville anymore, I still go down and hang out every now and then, because it's kind of a fun city to hang out in, you know. So as far as your YJ, I don't blame you. Dive in head first. YJs are such a great platform to build. They're easy to work on. They're not really, of all the Jeeps that's out there, they're not really the expensive one either. Because when you go back to CJs, the parts are hard to find, and when you do find them, they're premium. TJs, because they're a newer generation of electronics and mechanical stuff like that, they tend to be a bit more expensive to work on. Another thing too with the YJs are hard to find parts for in the junkyard, but there's one little trick that not many of you may know. XJ Cherokees, a lot of the parts from an XJ will swap over to a YJ if you know what to do and how to do it. Versus the TJs, there's very little in the junkyard that you can walk up and say, hey, I'm going to get this out of this Grand Cherokee or out of this whatever, and the parts will swap over into a TJ. They're just not as builder friendly, I guess you might say. And CJs, well, I mean, either you build them back original or you mod them. That's about the only choice you got. If you build them back original, good luck finding parts unless you find one that has never been messed with. So, of the Wrangler line, of the Jeep Wranglers and stuff, the YJ is definitely the easiest to build, the least expensive to build, and honestly, probably about the tougher of the three too, because they got so little. TJs have so much more electronics and gadgetry stuff like that can go wrong, versus the YJs are so simplistic in design. They got the simple electronics for your fuel injection. I mean, just totally crazy simple. And even the earlier YJs that had the carburetors and stuff like that, they still weren't too complicated to work with. But most people are scared of the sensors. Oh my God, it's got a sensor, it's got a computer. YJs are the easiest ones about all of them to work with. If really, honestly, if every car I've ever worked on in my life that had fuel injection, the YJs are still easier than any other car I've ever worked with. So you've got a great platform to learn how to do wrenching on. So Carly, I hope you enjoy it. Peace. And the next comment comes from Jeepaholic. Hey bud, what's up? Jeepaholic is actually, he was on my Instagram account too, so we chatted back and forth and on the YouTube and on Instagram quite a bit. He has sweet white YJ. Now he mentioned at one time, I think he was gonna sell it. Did that ever happen? So dude, if you're still watching my vids, let me know, you still got it. And I think it says here in the question that you had a, let's just read the comment. So Jeepaholic says, I remember watching your video on how to drop the soft top when I was bored in class one day. I was actually getting ready to buy my YJ, had a TJ at the time, and I saw you had other YJ videos, so I subscribed. Your videos are very detailed and make advanced repairs seem so simple. A lot of the time before I go and do repair on my YJ or my Comanche, I would love to have one. I reference your videos first as a refresher. Congrats on the 20K. Well, this is actually, I'm about 26,000 subscribers now, so it's been a minute since these comments were left. But I just wanted to start out this video series thanking the people who are my regulars that I subscribe to, no matter whether it's on the videos or whether it's on these posts right here. So I really do appreciate it, really do. You made the reference to making complicated videos simple. That's the way I've always, whenever I was teaching classes a time or two throughout life, that's one thing I've always tried to do, is try to make the most complicated thing as simple as possible. I would use different types of things for analogies to compare things to. Say for instance, you know, defragging a hard drive on a computer. Most people what does it even do, you know? So back in my computer teaching days, I had a deck of index cards 1 through 10. Showed them everything 1 through 10. They're all nice, neat, and organized. All the numbers are on the same side. You know, it's got the little lines come up. They're on that side and stuff. And I let fan them out. I said, look, class, 1 through 10. They're all nice, neat, and organized. And that 1 through 10, those index cards, I said, represents a Word document, okay? Okay, you got that Word document. You got all your indentions and all your notations, your quotes, and all that kind of fun stuff. You got a perfect document, right? So now, you're done with that document for the moment. You close it out. You hit exit, close, whatever, and you close out your Word document. Your computer is one of the messiest contraptions you have ever seen. I gotta catch a light just right there. We go. That because what it does, that Word document, you think it put it in one little nice little neat package. It doesn't. It scatters it all over the hard drive. And so all the little bits and bytes are bouncing around everywhere. So whenever you do a defrag, all those little bits and bytes that are bouncing everywhere, a defrag puts all this stuff back together and makes your hard drive all nice, neat, and organized. It kind of cleans up its room, so to speak. So what I did was, to represent this, I said, okay, you close out your Word document. I took those index cards, threw them up in the air. And so when I did this, most of my students were old enough to be my parents. So they're looking at this little dumb kid up here like he is an idiot. He just threw his cards up trying to teach us something, you know. So what I did was pick them up. Now look at these cards. They're crisscross, they're back and forth, they're out of order, they're everything. They're scattered. I said, this is your Word document. This is what a computer does to your Word documents or your Excels or your spreadsheet or your pretty little kitty picture, whatever. I said, now let's defrag your hard drive. I put all the little cards back together, 1 through 10. Now it's neat and organized. I said, now your computer just defragged your hard drive. That's what I mean. I could have went through all the nerdy crap to explain why does a computer hard drive do what it does, or I could use something as simple as some index cards to explain this. You know, the size of a hard drive. You've got a coffee cup versus a bucket. You know, a small hard drive, large hard drive. You know, what's the capacity of it? That's analogies I use to teach stuff. And so even with my videos with my Jeeps and cars, motorcycles, trucks, whatever I may be teaching at the time, I try to bring it down to earth and not get nerdy talk, so everyone comprehends. If you can't comprehend what someone's teaching you, the information does you no good. See, the jeepyj, I really appreciate you chiming in, brother. Holler at me again on Instagram. Peace. Later. Squirrel. I'll go around, maybe it won't disturb him. He's munching. What is it, bud? I'm not gonna mess with you. You keep munching. I'll move along. There you go. Keep munching. A spirit animal right there. That's about my attention span. So the next comment is from Eddie Boyette, and he says, love the videos and how simply the information is presented. My question is, what now? My question is, have you ever uploaded a video about troubleshooting issues with wipers? Neither my wipers nor my washer is working. Signal lights work, the dimmer works, but nothing from the wiper and wash related. Well, this is more of a, this was going to be more of a, how I say, hey man, cool job, tell me what you liked about it, really want a Q&A thing, but you know what, I'll go ahead and answer that. What's your first thing I need you to check? Obviously check fuses. Fuses are good, then you need to check grounds. It's no secret that the YJs are bad about their grounds getting really flaky, and then you got them underneath the dash, and for the washer, it's going to be, where's that at? Right there, right behind the engine block should be the ground for that. So check the grounds, check your fuses. If that still doesn't work, then start straight wiring. Just run a wire directly to your pump or directly to your windshield wiper. Does it work? If it kicks on and moves, you got a wiring issue. If it doesn't kick on and start moving, wiping back and forth, and pump's pumping, then that component is bad. So narrow it down in sections. You got wiring, you got your components, you got your fuses and stuff. Break it down in sections. It'll help you to really simplify the process. Cool? Hope that helps. I'm not really sure what that is, but it really looks like a, well, I ain't gonna say it looks like dookie with glitter. That's really strange. So the next comment comes from Fugin. And just by any chance, if you catch this video right here, put down in the comments, do you happen to be from Eastern Kentucky? The reason I ask that is because my mom is from the Eastern Kentucky area. There's a lot of Fugits up in that area. So just curious. And Phil says, I have a 1991 YJ. You have helped me do lots of repairs and still have more to do. You have made it ready. Thanks a bunch. Keep it up for all of us YJ owners. Glad these videos are helping you, man. See, I'm sitting out here at this park. I got the walking trail behind me. I keep thinking people walking up on me. I get weird looks. I'm glad these videos are helping you get your rig up and going. They've helped you so much about the maintain and the mods. And don't worry, I don't plan on anytime soon stopping the YJ vids. I do have some other toys that I'm going to be introducing to the channel, but the YJs will always be there. Appreciate you, bro. Peace. Right there. Little one right there in the trail. There's another one. Protected park here. You got your campground over here. So the deer are pretty well used to people. They won't let you come up to them, but they're pretty used to people walking the trails and stuff. And my next comment is from Castro, and he says, in the middle of doing my clutch in my 1991, which is me and my wife's only means of transportation, the internal slave cylinder had been leaking, and I knew I would have to fix it, which I only figured out and had even attempted because of your video. Again, that's one of those things to where I'm glad I do what I do for these videos, because it gives people the confidence to do the jobs themselves. Sometimes you just ain't got the money to pay a mechanic. Been there, done that. No, actually, it's kind of ironic. A friend of mine, my buddy Wayne and I were discussing it today about, you know, changing tires, oil changes and stuff like that. I mean, back in the day, I mean, I was so daggone broke that it wasn't a case of take it to the oil change place and let them change it and pay them X amount of money or something like that. Or, you know, taking the tires off your rims yourself and put them on it and just take them, have them balanced because you didn't have the money to pay the people to do this, you know. Okay, I'm definitely a lot better off now. And I still do my own oil changes. But when it comes to putting, you know, pulling tires and wheels off of stuff and changing them around, I'm taking that crap to the shop, man. Seriously. Now, okay, let's something I ask you guys. Would you guys like to see the process of pulling tires off of wheels and putting them back on? If you guys would like to see that, drop it down in the comments down below. That's one of the things that my buddy and I were talking about today, is that, you know, sometimes shelling out, you know, 20, 25 bucks a tire to have it done for you versus the time it takes to do it yourself. Sometimes you just gotta really weigh that out. What's your time worth? But if you guys want to see that video on how to take a tire off of a rim and put it back on, drop it down in the comments and I'll see what I can do for you. Now back to his comment. I'm about to move the trans today to get that cylinder, and hopefully I'll have a vehicle by Monday. Been stuck since last week. I used your other video when the fuel pump was giving me stack. Really grateful for your videos and knowledge and willingness to share. Again, I think, you know, I may have mentioned somewhere throughout this video to where I used to, you know, I got laid off one time and I was working on cars on the side just to pay the bills. And again, I was just working on one car at a time, helping one person at a time. And when I released the first video about how to change oil in a Jeep, no, it's a tune-up, I'm sorry, it's a tune-up video. The very first tune-up video I released, and I seen how many people it helped versus me doing one person at a time versus me helping hundreds, now thousands. That, I don't know, it's just a humbling thing that, you know, the way I grew up was that you didn't have the money to take things to the mechanics. I had the skills, had the ability, so that's the only thing I had. And even those skills and abilities I learned from two people, my dad and my buddy Wayne. And I mean, honestly, if it weren't for those two right there, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing for you guys here. So there you go. Now, obviously, based upon your comments there, you've got that internal slave cylinder. Man, that is one of the craziest designs Castro's ever come up with. I don't get it. I've got another transmission for my 91 that I'm going to change it out one of these days that has the external slave. my internal slave transmission that's in my Jeep right now, it has issues. The synchronizers are shot, but I mean, I know how to drive it and I don't have an issue with it. So one of these days when I feel froggy, either I'll change the transmission out, or if that transmission finally gives up, I'll change it then. But I've got another AX15 with the external slave. They're so much easier to deal with. So I know this has been a minute since all this right here was posted, but I hope your Jeep repair and your slave cylinder went well. Appreciate your comment, bro. Peace. This is one of those places where I just come out here and it's quiet, it's chill, and especially since it's a Tuesday evening. If you come out here on weekends, pretty busy. But yeah, this is just one of my cool places here. Love nature. Yeah, absolutely. And the next comment comes from EZRick. Now, EZRick's actually on my channel. He comments pretty much every video. Really appreciate that, man. So he says, your junkyard lift got me hooked. Nice job. And the transfer case template was awesome. Ah, the transfer case template. That's an interesting one. There is on www.jeeps.com. On fixjeeps.com, there is a template on that website where if you want to change out, if you're using a Jeep Cherokee XJ transfer case and you want to use it in a YJ, you have to reclock the transfer case, because the XJ or Cherokee transfer cases tilt downward like this. YJ is set up like this. So if you try to put the XJ transfer case in a YJ, it's going to hit the skid plate and you're not going to be able to get the skid plate up at all. So what do? Two options. One option is if you have your YJ transmission, the 5-speed, you can pull the tail shaft off and swap out the tail shaft housing, should I say, and that will reclock the transfer case from this up to this. The second option, the template in reference here, you can re-drill the back of the transmission for the proper bolt pattern, and I'll link the videos up so you guys can check that out. But that template was back in my computer-aided drafting days. I drew that up on CAD, and it has helped a lot of people, and I see comments pop up every so often about how well it worked. So I'm really happy I made that template, so it helps out a lot of people. EZRick, man, I really appreciate all the comments you leave on my channel. And I've got a big old boat going behind me or something. Yep, big old boat. So EZRick, man, you comment just about on every one of my videos. Brother, I appreciate you. Peace. There he went. There he is. Right there. Squirrel. And the next comment is from Gary King. He's another regular on my channel that leaves lots of great comments. Gary, I really appreciate it, buddy. He says, your videos are very helpful and helped me out of a few tight spots, and even taught me how to drive my Jeep better and know what to look for even when buying another Jeep. Again, Gary's one of the subscribers that comments on my videos quite often, and I'm really happy that he does, because it lets me know that when the people interact and let me know that, hey, this is a good video, or I need this or I need that, it helps, one, let me know that I'm doing the right thing for the channel. Two, it lets me, sometimes someone's questions triggers an idea for a video. I mean, sometimes I sit and stare at my rigs and thinking, oh, what video can I make next? You know? So y'all's questions sometimes helps trigger videos. So, hey man, that's a good idea. I need to let people know how to do this. So oftentimes those questions you guys leave in the comments and stuff, it helps trigger more content for the channel. So totally keep it up. Gary, appreciate it, bro. Peace. And the next comment comes from Drabetta, and he says, all the simple Jeep videos. This was the only resource I could find that helped me wire my LED tail lights without spending a fortune on a wiring kit. Keep them coming. 94YJ, old red. Wiring electrical work is one of those things that scares a lot of people. For me, I enjoy building custom wiring harnesses like that. That's just one of those things I just get lost in doing. Now, sometimes chasing down electrical gremlins, they kind of make me go, It's not that I can't do it. It's just that I hate chasing gremlins. It's just one of those things that bugs the snot out of me. But building harnesses like that, I just like doing it, you know. And I've got this one old rig that's going to be coming up really soon. I don't think I'm going to build the harness for it. I think I'm just going to buy it because it's just a time thing. I can spend X amount of dollars on a wiring harness and get the thing wired up and ready to roll out, or I can keep pulling wire, eating up a lot of time. And what I really need to get this other rig up and going, you know what I'm saying? So I ain't gonna tell you what the rig is. You guys will see it eventually. But you know, I just one of those things I want to just wire it, get it done. Now the wiring harness I'm gonna buy isn't long enough to give you guys a clue how big this rig is. It's not a Jeep, but it's gonna be used to pull my Jeep around. So there's a clue for you. So with doing the electrical videos, I've noticed two things. I've noticed a few different things. Some of the, like the LED tail lights, it's one of the more popular videos because I can look at my statistics and says, hey, this video's doing good, this one not so much. But for some strange reason, a lot of my electrical videos I do, they just don't get a whole lot of traffic until people really need them. But they're not, the videos that get the most traffic is if I'm doing something like, I don't know, how to bypass your ignition system so you don't need a key or stuff like that. Those do pretty good. So it's the mods to electricals that do really well for videos. But the fix it stuff, nah, typically not so much. But the LED tail light is actually it's a mod that a lot of people want to do. So the wiring of it actually is a very good topic. So anyway, long story short, I'm glad that video helped you, and I've seen that it's helped a lot of different people, and that's why I do these videos, to help people. So appreciate you leaving a comment. Peace. So my next comment comes from Cod Clips36, and he says, and the wind about to blow my paper away. You can grab over a little different. My new to me 88 jeepyj has had several mods done which were simplified by your content tremendously. I wish there were more content on a 4.2 AMC that came in my Jeep, but nonetheless, the body, the wiring, suspension videos you produce have helped me shape my build. This is coming from an automotive engineer in the big rig, in the luxury big rig industry. Keep up the good work. Well, thank you very much, sir. You know, yesterday I was hanging out with a buddy of mine that he's got two CJ7s, and we were talking about the 4.2 that's in his rig, and I'm kind of seeing, waiting. I think he's gonna turn one of them loose, and if he does, I may end up buying the gray one, which of course you guys didn't see them, but if he puts the right price on, I may end up buying the gray CJ, but that ain't gonna be anytime in the near future because he's actually trading parts between his red one versus the gray one. He's swapping out and building one good one, and I'm thinking about getting the gray one of what's left of it. It should be a driver when he's put it back together, but we'll just have to wait and see. So if that be the case, I'll have a 4.2 to start making videos on. So that's just a waiting game to see if it comes up or not. Now, as far as the body wiring and suspension stuff between your 88 versus my 91 and my 93, there's definitely some wiring difference. There's no doubt about that because one's carbureted, one's injected. Heck, even between my 91 and my 93, there's difference in the wiring underneath the dash. The gauges wire different. Color codes are different between 91 and 93. So one thing about AMC/Chrysler, they did stay consistent upon their wiring throughout the years. But nonetheless, one thing about wiring, I don't care if your wire is pink, I don't care if it's purple, I don't care if it's got polka dots. If they change the color codes throughout the years, the function is still pretty much the same with electrical. View electricity like water. Water is nothing, it takes a path of least resistance. It'll go through a wire, it'll go through a switch, it'll go through whatever, and it doesn't care what the color of the wire, the outer jacket is. But learning how to diagnose electrical stuff is where most of your knowledge needs to be built from. Don't get hung up on looking at wire schematics. Schematics will give you an idea of where the wire is going and stuff like that. For instance, I released a video 2-3 weeks or so ago that I showed you at the very beginning of the video. I showed you guys the schematics of my rig. Then I told you guys those schematics were junk because they were totally different from mine. Then I walked you through the process of how to find this wire, find that wire, stuff like that. Those are the type of videos that where, ironically, I've noticed that they don't do as well as if I was to show you guys how to put lights under your dash and make them bright and blingy. But, you know, if I do a how to fix it video with electrical, they just don't get the views. It's kind of, I don't know. I get that people like to mod their stuff and make it all nice, cool, and, you know, personalize the rig. I totally get it. But the videos I put out there that help people functional videos. Those to me mean more to me helping people than me making something nice blingy. I mean, I've got a whole LED kit that I'm going to put inside my 91 rig. That's going to be probably a great video. People's going to love it because it's going to have really cool lights and interior lights and switching and all kind of crazy stuff. It's going to do really good on views. Okay, I'm glad I showed you guys how to wire that stuff up. But it's kind of like with some of the comments I've had on this particular video, on these sheets here, that some of the videos are helping people out and getting them out of a jam. Those are the ones that means the most to me, because as I mentioned before, I grew up and didn't have the money to go pay a mechanic. My dad didn't have the money to pay mechanics, and that's just kind of the way the world I grew up in. And so I was kind of school of hard knocks, learn how to do all this stuff on my own. So now that I've amassed some skills, I pass that along to you guys in the YouTube videos. So really happy that these videos help you guys out, even the blingy ones. I'm glad you guys get the cool tricks. So appreciate it. Peace. Jeep. And the next comment is from AlFrazier, and he says, "Hey there from Canada. Yay, another one out the States. It's awesome that these videos reach out so far, helping so many people. That just makes me feel like, hey, I'm doing a good thing for everyone. You know, cool." But he says, "Hey there from Canada, doing a father-son project on an 89 YJ. I also hit up YouTube and your channel came up. Been watching ever since. Thanks and keep it up." Man, the father-son project thing is really super cool. Because back in the days, of course, you know, whenever I was a kid, I always wanted a Jeep. I never could afford one, for one. But I did end up buying a big block Dodge Charger one time, and that's something my dad and I worked on quite a bit together. You know, I pulled a 400 out, and my best friend Wayne, hey bro, he gave me a 440 of a New Yorker, and so we built the. I'm out here in the middle of the woods. There's a walking trail running right down through there, so I'm just like, you know, thinking people running up on me and stuff. But he gave me that 440, and my dad and I built that 440, dropped it in, and you know, that was one of those good father-son projects that he and I got to work on together. And he's helped me on my Jeeps a lot of times. You know, come down. He lives next street over from me, so he'll come down and big old ant crawling. He lives next street up from me, so he'll come down at the house and be, "Hey, what's up?" And I'm saying, "Hey, I'm tinkering with this, tinkering with that," and he'll hang out. He'll tinker with me a little bit, and you know, he'll mosey on home whenever he gets around to it. And also, speaking of father-son projects, I got my son's Bronco there at the house, and he and I, whenever he lives in North Carolina right now, going to college, and so whenever he comes in, that's what he and I do, tinker with his old Bronco. So whatever he's done with school, he'll take his Bronco home and work on it from there. But yeah, I totally get the father-son project. I wish my boys lived closer so I could do more with them, but do it while you can, man. And you picked a great vehicle to build, because they're not hard to build. The YJs are so simple. They're tough, they're rugged, and they just make a great rig. They make everything from a good daily driver to toys, whatever you want to make them for. So, appreciate it. Peace. Later, y'all. I keep saying later, y'all, like I'm into the video. Next comment. This video does not do this incline justice. It's a steep rascal. And it curves up around that way, obviously. And it stays steep. Yay, fun. And next comment comes from Travis McGoogan. I hope I pronounced that right. But he says, "You took the time to show people how to fix stuff on their own and how to do it simply and not complicated." So as I've said a couple times in the videos, I have at one point or another been an instructor for, there's a place up in Hartsville. I was a computer instructor up there. And whenever I was working at a college in Nashville, I was IT, but I was also kind of an instructor for certain classes there. Wasn't what you call a full-time instructor there, but I was IT, just kind of helping out with the students when they needed certain things, which turned into, you know, teach them said skill while the other instructor was working, you know, stuff like that. It's kind of like as a, how you say, a guest instructor at times, put it that way. Yeah, that's it. So for me to catch these details and put them forward to everyone to help you out in your quest for fixing your YJs, that's just kind of the way I'm wired. There's a lot of YouTube channels that just kind of spit out, just, okay, you turn this screw, you turn that screw, you tighten this up, done. It ain't that simple. And I'm going to show you every screw, every wire, every whatever. Sometimes it does make these videos crazy long, but at the end of the day, it's going to give you what you need to fix what you need fixed. Yeah, that's it. So I just enjoy doing it, and I just don't want to shortcut these vids. So I feel like I'm doing this. I feel like I'm doing a disservice if I did. You know what I'm saying? Cool. Really glad this channel's helping you. Peace. Look you real close. You can see a deer. Right there, right there. Where'd the little one go? There it is, right there. And I just came up the top of that hill and I'm out of breath. The deer are protected here, so they know they're safe. No hunters allowed in this area. And the next comment comes from baxcard. I have a 1990 YJ 2.5 liter that was being used as a doghouse when I found it. It had a hard top, so I paid $300 cash and dragged it home. No interior, brakes, etc. Brown freeze plug, water pump, and thermostat housing shattered. I have fixed almost all of these things. There are a few more repairs, like the holes in the frame beside the axle. That's very common for some of the YJs. And the rear shocks are missing after the mouse rusted off again. Common thing, depending on where you're from. My 91 rig has very, very little rust, but it was a southern rig, more from East Tennessee. Rust Bucket was the 1993 rig, is actually from Pennsylvania. Yeah, you're talking about rust. Oh my gosh, that's the reason it got named Rust Bucket. Anyway, the fuel tank apparently fell off at some point, but it was strapped back on reasonably well. I have been diving into it for 5 years now. I think your style is just what I need to see on YouTube. YouTube/FixJeeps. You've been on the side. FixJeeps.com. Check it out. And thank you. So, yeah, I'm pretty active on YJ Fanatics and YJ Warriors and let's see, Jeep Wrangler YJ, a few of the Facebook groups. I'm pretty active in there, hanging out and stuff, and dropping in stuff and helping people. But one thing I've noticed, people with frame repair, you kind of watch, you can kind of guess where the Jeeps are from. Like I said, the northern rigs, where they use all the salt on the roads, like yeah, those rigs turn out to just totally eat up with rust. Now, I'm in Tennessee, and most of the YJs I've seen around here really aren't in too bad shape. There are some that do get rust, absolutely, but they're not really that bad. Like I said a moment ago, my 93, no, my 91, I'm trying to think where the rust is. There's a little bit on the driver's side up near the front quarter, and on the passenger side, it's got some damage from the original owner or the past owner, whatever, that they beat the snot out of it, caved the side of it in. It don't show well in the videos because I kind of intentionally keep it out of camera, but they stuffed a bunch of Bondo in it, so therefore I got to take that whole side, eventually cut that skin out and replace the whole side of the passenger side of my 91 model. But it was due to, I don't know if they hit a tree, whatever, because my 91 model was actually used as a farm toy at one point. My dad bought a 2006 model and the 91 at the same time, and he paid $4,500 for both of them. No, I didn't stutter. He paid $4,500 for a 2006 model TJ 4.0 liter 6-speed that will pull a house down. That rig is super geared low. It's not a Rubicon, it's a Sport Edition trail rated, so it's got the 373 gears, 6-speed. It's geared pretty good. It'll pull pretty strong. The 91 model, which I ended up with, and I gave him his money back on it. And I wish I started my YouTube channel back then, because there's so much I could have taught you guys then. Because that rig was junk. It's obviously savable because it's my daily driver now, but the brakes were shot. I mean, there was so much wrong with that Jeep, but I crash coursed that thing. I was like, for almost 2 weeks, I did fall asleep under it a couple times, just putting it back together. I totally get you saying that your Jeep was used as a doghouse, because mine was used for a farm toy with a 14-year-old kid getting out playing it in the fields. So you can only imagine what that poor Jeep went through. I know when I got it, finally got it running, so now I'm going to clean it up. I put it in my front yard because there was literally 2 inches of dirt and mud packed into the bottom of it. So I was taking a screwdriver, busting the chunks up out of it, digging out what I could, throwing in the trash, taking a water hose, washing out the floorboard, pulling the body plugs out, the floor plugs, and it was just solid gooey mud rolling out those plugs. So yeah, my 91 was pretty rough until I got it. So Bax, appreciate you leaving a comment, bro. Peace. And the next comment comes from Desert Jeff. What's up, buddy? Man, you are always on my channel, and I so much appreciate that. Not only have you asked me a question a time or two, which I'm totally cool with and I love answering, but you've also just kind of like, we kind of almost had conversations and stuff in the comments of the YouTube comments things down there. Appreciate it, brother, really. And he says, simply, camera doing weird stuff, how-to videos. Exactly. But the how-to videos, no, it's primarily about Jeeps, obviously. But I've also got motorcycles, cars, trucks, all kinds of different stuff on there. Fabrication, different things like that. And I think I mentioned time or two throughout the videos here, throughout shooting this video, that I've got some other toys I'm going to be introducing here soon. And so it's going to be a how-to video, but the YJs will never go away. The YJs are the core of what I do. And the other toys that I'm having, or building, should I say, are kind of helping the YJs do their thing. Clues. So, Jeff, man, I really appreciate all the comments you leave and some of the commentary we got back and forth. Appreciate it, buddy. Peace. I'm about 20 feet from them. The little one's still got spots. Well, we didn't find out if a bear pooped in the woods, but we just found out that the deer did. Oh, got another one back here. These are little baby ones. Come on, there you go. There's one to my right's eyeballing me. Yeah, snorting ran. And this comment is from mondosparks, and he says, all your Jeep maintenance and Jeep hack videos. Jeep maintenance, that's actually what started the channel out. My very first video was how to tune up a YJ. And at the time, for the very beginning of all this stuff, I was just kind of doing it as a hobby, just kind of like, I'm gonna release a video here and there, something like that, no big deal. Then I started seeing all the feedback coming from all you subscribers saying, man, this video helped me out a lot. And that's like, hey, you know, back in my days of when I got laid off with jobs, I was doing mechanic work on the side. I could help one car at a time, or one person at a time, however you want to look at it. And starting up the YouTube channel, showing you guys how to do tune-ups and how to do oil changes and how to do all that simplistic stuff that some people just don't know how to do. I'm not helping one person at a time. I'm helping just multitudes of people at one time. So hence the satisfaction that I got from doing these videos, kind of like, this is so cool. So guess what? I'm keeping it going, and I will for a long time. And like I said, mentioned a time or two throughout the video, I got some other toys I'm going to be bringing into it. Went about blue gold paper away. So there'll be some more stuff. But one thing I want you guys to keep in mind, I gotta set my paper set to blow away. One thing I want you guys to keep in mind, I realize every now and then that I release a video that's like a Bronco I released a while back. It didn't do a whole lot of good on the vids, on the views and stuff. I need you to do something. Open your mind to something other than Jeeps. What? He said, what? There's something other than Jeeps? Yes, they are. Okay, look. I grew up old school hot rodder, okay? I've had Camaros, Chargers, Olds, Buick. I mean, I've had so many different cars throughout my life. Do I love my YJs? Do I love my Jeeps? Absolutely. My Jeeps will never go anywhere. I'll probably end up with more Jeeps before it's all said and done, to be honest with you. But I still got the love for all the old hot rods, the rat rods, and trucks, and all, I mean, cars in general. So what I mean by opening up your mind, just because I release a video that's on a different type of vehicle, watch that video. Not because I want you to just necessarily the views. It's a case of, if I can do this to a Bronco, you get that knowledge, you can do it to other vehicles. Just because I do a tune-up on a Jeep doesn't mean, okay, I have learned to gap spark plugs. I have learned to say, pull the spark plug off, put the new one on, and keep them in place. You can do the same thing to your Chevy truck, to your Ford truck, to whatever it is you may be driving. It's a concept of learning a skill, not just about one particular vehicle, okay? It's about getting the confidence to do things for yourself, saving that money. And more than anything, yeah, you save the money, but it's that confidence you get within yourself. You start getting that pride that I did it for myself, and you've learned a new skill that you can move on to other things and other facets in life. Confidence will take you a long way. So don't just look at these videos that I release for Jeeps, for cars, motorcycles, big trucks, little trucks, whatever. Pick them up as a skill that you've acquired that you can pass on to other facets of life, okay? Now, he mentions about Jeep hacks. One thing I will definitely tell you is that if you're looking for a channel that says, I want to put this together just like the factory did it, you're on the wrong channel. I'll hack, I'll cut, I'll modify. That's just what I do. That's the way I'm wired. That's what I'll always be. This whole concept of I'm going to put everything back together original. Only time I would ever do that if it was no CJ American Golden Eagle or something like that. Something that had the, I don't want to say market value because it's just kind of the wrong way of looking at it, but something that deserves to be put back together and is perfect, pristine, rolled off the factory build. I get that. Old Himikuda, Chevelles, whatever, that had the, the prime package builds and stuff. I get that. Putting them back together, numbers correct, totally understand it. But just a beater YJ that's a 4-cylinder, or just a beater YJ that's a 6-cylinder, I'm gonna mod, I'm gonna cut. So I guess that's where the hacks come in from. I will do different mods, but I'm not the only one that does it. Follow the Facebook groups, the forums and stuff. Everybody mods them. So most people do. But if you want to learn how to do really cool stuff, to modify, to fabricate, to custom wiring, then I can hook you up. Okay? So everyone, if you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't. Leave me some really cool comments down below. And there will be more videos coming similar to this one, the talking head style video thing. Is that what I'll be doing if someone asks a question of, Chuck, how do you do this fiberglass trick? Change arms on this camera. How you do this fiberglass trick? I'm going to look at their comment. I'll read it. I'll tell you how to do it from a talking head standpoint. There will be videos, and if I can link a video to, if I can link the talking head video to the tutorial video, I'll do that. But there's some videos or some questions that I can just simply say, hey, I got dive bombed by a big old butterfly. There's some videos I can just talk you guys through and you'll get the point. So leave me some cool comments down below and I'll pick out some cool ones and I may make videos from them. You never know. Peace. Later, y'all.